So I remember when my mom told me that they were getting divorced, that I encouraged it. I don't know, like, a lot of
Yeah.
kids, I think I hear stories where they're like, oh, that was really tough when my parents told me they were getting a divorce. And I thought it was the best thing that could happen for her, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So the divorce didn't necessarily affect me like maybe it does a lot of people. But yeah, so we were, I thought, a tight family until we weren't at all. And super separated. Like my sister was, like I said, in North Carolina with my mom. I mean, with my dad, I was with my mom. We finally convinced my sister to move to New York with us, to New Jersey. That's where I was
That's where
originally
you
from anyway. So
were
like
born. Yeah.
my grandparents and everybody were from. And she finally moved up, and it wasn't like a month later that I got Malcolm, and we moved to LA. And she's like, "You're not moving." So she stayed with my grandparents in New Jersey. We moved to LA. And so it's kind of this really weird dynamic to look at now. Like it actually makes
Yeah.
me a little bit sad, to realize that like us following my mom and I, or me following my dream and the things that I got to do, like affected every single member of my family. Right.
And you don't think about
Did
that
it
when you're younger.
No, at all. Like, did it cause a divorce? Potentially. Did like my sister, like I think of the life that she had. We've talked about a lot now that we're older. And, you know, I guess when it's happening, you don't realize the sacrifice that every single person is making for you.
Yeah.
Even my grandparents, 70, 80 years old, whatever, were then raising my sister. You know what I mean? Like,
That's crazy.
and the fact that they were so willing to help out and do whatever they could do to kind of for us to be available to go where I needed to go to do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thought, but it's a realization I actually had this year. It was the first time I thought about the past enough to think about the sacrifice that people made, and it made me really sad. Like, I mean, happy that I have people in my life like that, but like, it's just a crazy thought that without that support, probably none of that happens. You know what I mean? And it's a wild, wild thought.
Yeah. You were talking about how when your parents were going to get divorced, you're like, yeah, I encourage this. It's so funny because when my parents finally got divorced, I remember going, good. It didn't affect me at all. It affected
Yeah.
me when I realized my mom couldn't take care of herself, and then I had to support her for the
Mm-hmm.
rest of my,
Mm.
still in
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
ways. And so, that was really tough mentally on me, where she'd call up 2 a.m. and go, I can't do this. I'm going to end it. And I'm like, all right, you're being dramatic. Stop it. I got to
Yeah.
film in 4 hours. Can you please not do this now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you wait till we could talk,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's got to be tough. And it's cool that you eventually thought, hey, maybe, and obviously it's not your fault. It's inadvertently done by, you going after your dreams and your mom helping you succeed and all that. But it affected everybody else behind you. And it wasn't
Mm.
until one day you wake up and go, wait a minute, I left right when she got to, and then she lived with the grandparents in Jersey.